Your power is in the pause. Your power is in the pause. Your power to choose. Your power to determine your next steps. Your power to proactively determine what you will do and how you will show up. Your power to craft a life you love and a legacy that you will be proud of down the road. The challenge is, not many of us were raised to hit pause in our lives, to stop what we were doing, to stop our thoughts, to reflect, to discern, to dwell in a question. And in a world that is moving faster and faster and faster, so many of us are just on this cycle where we're going to get one more thing done and then another thing done and send another email and get it all wrapped up before we can go to bed, and then we go to bed exhausted. What if we took that power back and we tapped into that power to bring our very best problem solving and bringing our best solutions to those we serve and those we lead? Viktor Frankl, an Austrian neurologist, psychologist, philosopher, and Holocaust survivor, puts it this way: between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our capacity to choose. And in our choice lies our growth and our freedom. Okay, that sounds good, doesn't it? How does that play out when you come home from a long day of work, you open your mailbox, and there is a letter from the IRS? And your first response is to freak out. Or you have direct reports coming at you on Monday, it's about 10:30, and they are telling you all of the fires that need to be put out, and your first response is to grab the metaphorical fire extinguisher. Or the stimulus is systems do not seem to be working. Whether it's the shopping list at home, whoever is supposed to be getting the toilet paper is not getting that on the list, to your IT integration at work. And your response is to shut down, check out, and let someone else manage it. How can we hit pause if we don't have a practice of doing so? And if we live in this world that just goes faster and faster and more is required of us, wouldn't it behoove us, that's a fun word, behoove us, to continue responding faster and faster and faster? Well, actually, the answer is no. I recently became trained in Dr. Nadia Dzhembayeva's research. And Dr. Nadia Dzhembayeva is a global reinvention specialist. She works with organizations across the globe to help them not only survive in the volatility that we are experiencing, but to find ways to thrive by looking at their systems, by looking at their tools, their strategy, their heart set, their mindset, and shifting all of those things. So in going through training with her, these are some of the statistics that I learned. According to Accenture's Global Disruption Index, between 2011 and 2016, our disruption across the world went up by 4%. That means the world became 4% more unpredictable, 4% more uncertain, 4% more volatile. They did the same study between 2017 and 2022. Oh, anybody feel like you lived a lifetime in those 5 years? So what do you imagine was the increase? This is where you all get to play along. What do you imagine was the increase over those 5 years? If you have a guess, just shout it out. 20, 90, 50. Higher, higher. I feel like an auctioneer. If I had those skills, I'd be like, can I hear 120, 120, 130, going once? Higher. 200%. Our lives are 200% more unpredictable. So if life feels, oh, yeah, right? You simultaneously sigh like, that makes sense to me. And then the next response is like, oh, dang. Like, now I'm really tired. So if that's the world we're living in, let's couple in some additional statistics. According to Gallup, June 2023, 23% of American workers are actively engaged at work. 59% have quiet quit. So we're showing up, we're just not really supporting the bottom line or the goals of the organization. That leaves 18% of American workers are not quiet quitting. They are loud quitting, which looks like they are actively undermining and opposing their supervisors, the goals, and the mission of the organization. All of those stats tell me that we need the power that comes in the pause. We need this ability to pause before we make the next decision, the next choice, because that is where our best thinking happens. That is where our best decisions are made. That is where our creativity to solve problems that have never had to be solved before lives. When our brain is calm, when our brain is relaxed, that's when we see multiple opportunities rather than just a very narrow vision. So that might sound like, okay, that sounds like a good path, but how do we actually do this? Here's how. We hit pause and practice pause before we need the power that comes in it. So we use micro practices that are in our everyday life. These practices cost you $0. Zero. That is an investment that lots of organizations can get on board with. They're in your back pocket. They're with you all the time. They are so incredibly portable. We do it daily. We do it daily because when you make something a daily practice, shifting just a little bit here and there, over the long run, there's incredible results that happen. So I am going to share with you 2 simple techniques. I want you, the invitation, is to take these back to your team, to your family. Does anybody have grandkids? Yeah, teach them to your grandkids. If you're like watching the grandkids on a Saturday night and things are going a little wonky, this first one might really be helpful for you. Okay, so practice these with other people because that builds connection. And we all need more connection and more fun in our lives, I would purport. So the dirty little secret about our brains, about our cerebral cortex, it likes to do one thing at a time. Just one. That is such a bummer, I know. I wish it would do 7 or 9 because my to-do list is long and I imagine yours is too. It'd be wonderful if it could do all of it at one time, but it can't. It does its most efficient work when there's one thing at a time. That's when you have your greatest stamina. So how many things does our cerebral cortex like to do at a time? 1. How many things? How many things? 1. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, it sounds good, doesn't apply to me. It does. Yeah. So here is the first practice. There's so much distraction, so much disruption coming at us. So we might find ourselves being pulled into this moment or that moment, thinking about our vacation we took with our best friend, or thinking about an argument we're going to have with someone we care about in a few days. What we do is just get grounded in this moment by simply saying out loud or in your thinking these 3 simple words, I am here. So say that out loud with me. I am here. Great. Now let's add some muscle to it. So this time we're going to stomp. 1 stomp for each word. Here we go. I am here. Awesome. Now maybe you're more of a clapper kind of person, so we don't want you to be left out. So now we're going to do it with clapping. Okay, here we go. I am here. Snapping. Where are my snappers? We got to be somewhere, right? Let's do it with snaps. I am here. And I know there's got to be a few of you out there who want to put it all together. You were on the dance team or you were in charge of the cheerleading team and you're like, now we put it all together. Yes, you got it, right? So we're going to stomp, clap, and snap. Here we go. I am here. Okay, why do we do it with our bodies? Because you can bring it into a board meeting and you can just do this. You don't have to say a thing, but your brain has just said, I am here. Or you can bring it into a boring meeting and you can just go, I am here. Now I'm present. Now I'm going to show up in this meeting and I'm going to bring my best stuff. Or if you're in a Zoom meeting, I am here. You can do this in your cubicle and not distract anybody else. Tap on your desk. Think these in your head, right? Bring it back. Practice it with your team. It's a way to draw you into this moment, and it's fun. Okay, our second practice comes from Dr. Brené Brown. She is a grounded theory researcher, and she is credited with starting a global conversation about vulnerability, shame, authenticity, and courage. I have had the honor to facilitate her work for the last 12 years, elevated into helping facilitate at national trainings and lead new candidates through her process. What she found is that when people were willing to hit pause and to redirect how they were going to show up, in some way, shape, or form, they gave themselves permission. It sounds like this. As a leader, I give myself permission to not have all the answers. I give myself permission to say, I don't know. As the newest person in this room, I give myself permission to ask questions or to own my strength. I give myself permission to show up and be real and authentic. This works not just professionally, but also in our personal lives. So let me tell you a story about how this showed up in my family. I live on a tiny farm with my family. And one day back in March, my husband and our oldest walked in, and they were carrying a chicken. And it had fallen into the water tank, and it looked like it was done for this world. They actually thought we could have it for supper. I kid you not. We were going to have it for supper. And I was like, well, let's hit pause. Let's just wait a minute. I went and I got my blow dryer, hot pink Remington blow dryer. And I wrapped that chicken up in a towel, and I sat in the bathroom floor, and I blew dry that chicken, if those verbs are correct. However you say that. For 30 minutes, half an hour, an hour. It was cold as could be. Its head was flapped over the wrong way. Its little pterodactyl dinosaur legs were cold as could be. I keep blow drying it, like fanning off its feathers. And then I see it jerk up its head, and it pulls its little leg back. It came back to life. And it laid an egg the very next morning. That is some dedicated chicken. So, I want you to think about what is something you can give yourself permission to do today, tomorrow, something personally or professionally that you need to show up for. And when you hit pause, you can give yourself a permission. So think about that, because in a few moments, I'm going to ask a few of you to share. And I brought along some chickens to sweeten the deal. Yeah. What can you give yourself permission to do? Any ideas? I give myself permission to hit pause on hitting that email. Is anyone going to do that? Okay, you just want a chicken. Anyone going to tackle or conquer that really hard thing that you've been putting off? You're going to take at least the first step into that? You going to do it? Okay, I'm going to go this way. I don't want to, whoop, there we go. One more. I'm going to throw one more chicken. To rest, and someone took a break over here. So there we go. There is power in the pause, my friends. Thank you so much for your time.